All right, I think I'm live. Of course, thank you, Murphy, for having somebody phone call me right when I hit the live button. So there you go. All right, it's been one of those days, and that's all right. We're here together, and we're going to be talking about budgeting and spending plan and what the differences are, and why this is so critical to starting out and building a career plan that will truly be successful. So let's get started and explore. There we go. So for those of you who are new, I am Marissa Krupa. I'm a career transition coach, and my background is in mindfulness and somatics. And what I have done is created programs that are based on the mindfulness-based stress reduction program that John Kabat-Zinn built in the 1970s. And so I specifically support women in their mid-career who were either burnt out or were forced out of a job. And now they need to get some support on how to transition and what to do and where to go from here. So let's talk about this idea of budget. We're just going to jump right in. Most everybody knows what this is, but I always love to work specifically from a definition from a dictionary. And so the Merriam-Webster is my favorite one. And this is what they said. Now, there's several different um, definitions, and I picked out the one that is the most relevant for what we're talking about today. And that is that a budget is an amount of money that's either available or required or assigned to a particular purpose. I'm sure you know about having a food budget, right? Whether it's weekly or monthly, and especially if you are in a household with children, this is a thing that really needs to happen for everyone to make sure that they are eating healthy, eating well, and of course, saving your own sanity. But let's talk about a spending plan because a budget leaves out a lot of different pieces. And here are some of the main ones. A spending plan includes the vision that you have for your life or your career. And really, those are kind of combined into one, right? It also includes your dreams and desires. And it includes a mechanism for saving those. And we're going to explore that in just a minute. And you'll see an example of what I'm talking about. And then it also is an opportunity for you to pay down debt. So you can look at everything that you've got going on financially in your life and then begin to pay down debt in order to fund your dreams and your vision. It's really a lot more than a budget. And it is a way to, how do I say this? Like fully support yourself, fully love yourself, and stop shortchanging yourself like we women have a tendency to do because of so many obligations. All right. Now that we've explored these topics, let's try to get calm and get clear. I don't know about you, but talking about money is stressful for me. Um, it can be for a lot of people. It's not something, especially as women, that we get taught a lot about. We often have to learn for ourselves, learn from each other. That's why it's an honor for me to be able to offer this idea and concept to you. I picked out this quote by Will Rogers because it's really important. Think about that whole concept of like keeping up with the Joneses. That was such a big thing. I would say probably from the 1950s, even through the 1980s. And yet, do we really need all the stuff, right? And how do we reward companies on the stock market if they have growth? Well, how do they grow? When they sell more stuff. Well, who are they selling the stuff to? Us, right? Do we need to really buy all the stuff? Well, the companies claim that we do, but do we really? Therefore, let's That's why it's so important to talk about money, because everyone's vision and what they really want out of their life is going to be different. And what a phenomenal opportunity, if you're in a career transition, to give yourself the chance to really discover what that is for you. That's what a spending plan helps you to do. So let's get calm. Let's calm our nervous system down. I know I could sure use that today. All right. First, let's do our check in. In this moment of now, for everything that you are experiencing, pick a number from 1 to 10. 1 is like you're super duper horrible. 10 is you're the most fabulous ever. And allow that number to come to you for everything about where you are now: physical, mental, emotional, all the things. All right. You can either jot that down or just remember it. Let's get into some movement. I'm going to pause the slides, maybe. And yeah, let's move. These movements, always and always, when I offer movement, it's always optional. It's always an invitation. These ones that I picked out today are specifically to help with the areas of our body that have to do with money. Okay, so I really encourage you to give them a try. And can I just tell you, it feels so amazing to be not wearing socks right now, is because it's so warm out. Like, oh, spring is finally here. Thank goodness. All right. So we're going to start with the leg toning. This again came from Anna Dea Judith. And so your feet will be slightly wider than hip distance apart. Again, this is always optional. This one is a little tough to do on a chair. That's why I offer it standing. However, if you have challenges with standing and it's not easy for you, if you sit very, very on the edge of your chair, you can try it. And also, if you have like a higher height, you can see how I lifted up the stool, right? And so I'm on the edge here, and then you can still get the traction on your legs, okay? All right. So feet are a little bit wider than hip distance. And now really pigeon your toes in, okay? Hands are on your hips. Deep breath in. Exhale, bend your knees. Just go as far as feels comfortable for you. And as you inhale to stand, you're going to spread your legs wide, like the opposite of tweezers. Beautiful. Exhale, bend your knees. Keep that tension in your legs. Keep spreading your legs wide, wide, wide. And then inhale, standing up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, expand out. One more time. Exhale, down. Inhale, expand out. And just stand and breathe. Don't shake your legs out, because the energy you've just built in this lower part of your body will dissipate. So stand right here. Keep your feet pigeon-toed, because we're going to be using this posture for the next movement. But just stand and breathe and really feel into your legs. Feel into your hips, your low back, your pelvic area. Feel what is happening there. For me, I get very, very energized in the lower part of my body. It feels great. All right, so the next one we're going to do is same, but a little bit different. Hands are on the hips. And this time, we're going to do the body wave. So now we're pigeon-toed. Our feet are wider than hip distance. Inhaling at the top. Exhale, bend your knees. As you inhale this time to stand, you're going to press your pelvis forward and wave on up. As you exhale, you can just come on down. Inhale, expand the legs out. Press the pelvis forward, wave up. Exhale, bend your knees. Let's do a few more of these. It's so good. Keeping that tension in your legs the whole time. Let's do one more. Inhaling up. Release your hands. Step your feet a little bit closer together. Release the pigeon toe. Stand and breathe. Whew. Feel what's happening in your body in this moment. Awesome. And the last thing we're going to do is the Kapalabhati breath. Again, that's the breath of fire. So I'm coming a little closer here. And my belly button is right here at where my pants are buttoned. So I'm going to put my one hand below the belly button, one hand either on the top of the belly or the heart, whatever works for you. Okay. And so you can see me here. The Kapalabhati breath is where we press the diaphragm in with like a kind of a fierce pushing in motion. All right. So that we're forcing the air out through our nose. And I would have a hanky or a tissue handy because 9 times out of 10, when I do this, I got snots coming out. So it's a pressing in. If we breathe in and the belly goes big, then when we press in sharply, the breath is forced out. So that's how we do it. And so we breathe in short and we breathe out with this forced pressure in through the diaphragm. So I hope everybody can see that. Okay. So again, place your hands where you would like to have them. And we are going to start slow and then speed up. And we're going to do about 30 seconds of this breath. So let me get the timer. And here we go. Let's pick up the pace. Go faster if you can still. Big inhale. Exhale, release. And again, just stand and breathe. Take care of any bodily fluids coming out your nose if you need to. Notice your belly. I did a big, long yoga session on the deck yesterday. It was so beautiful out. And so my legs are sore, but also my belly because I did a lot of core work. So this breath is extra special for me today. So feel into what you feel. And there's no right or wrong here, right? When we talk about this sort of feeling thing, there is no right or wrong. All right. The first thing we're going to do is start with some writing. So have a scrap paper or journal handy. Let me get the slides back up. And we're going to write first. Maybe. Okay. So, all right. Again, I'm going to guide you through about every 30 seconds here because I don't want you to linger too long on these answers. And that way you can kind of, now that we've calmed our minds, calmed our bodies, the clear answer can just, come without too much thought, without too much rumination. Okay. Actually, what I want here is this amount of time. Okay. All right. The thing we need to do before we even get started on a spending plan is actually beginning to get an idea of our vision for our life and our career. And these questions are just a start. There are so many other ways to dive into vision, but this is a taste for today. So let's explore this. And again, I'll be giving you about 30 seconds for each question. The first question is, do you want to travel? And if you do, how often? And in this 30 seconds, you can also list out, where do you want to travel to? Maybe you've already got in your mind a bucket list. Do you want to travel? If yes, how often and where? All right, next question. What kind of big ticket items would you like to purchase that you don't own right now? And list out what they are. These are things like car, house, maybe it's that dream vacation you want to purchase. Maybe you want to purchase a cabin in the woods for the weekends. And really, the sky's the limit. Ask yourself, what do you want? What big items do you want that you don't have right now? And I'll give you about another 20 seconds for that. Write them down. And the last question is about how you want to feel each day. A lot of life coaches and people talk about writing out a day in the life, and that's kind of okay. I like to focus more on the daily feel. For example, do you want to feel tired? Because I don't think so. I know I don't. And yet, that's probably how you're feeling right now, is tired every day. That's why it's important to get into the feeling of when you wake up in the morning, how do you want to feel? Write this down. I'll give you about another 10, 15 seconds on this one. How do you want to feel each day? All right, wrap up your writing. Excellent job there, everybody. And now I am going to attempt to share my screen on this restream thing, which I've never done before. So let's see if I can get it to work. Ooh, no, that's not it. Window. Yes, this is it. Haha. All right, let's see if it shows up. Woohoo! All right. Partly why I'm a little behind the eight ball, because I've got a bunch of other stuff going on, but partly it's because I was rejiggering this spending plan that I myself have used in the past, and I will be using soon to create a new spending plan for myself. Everything that I offer are things that I do also. And what I didn't have time to build was the instant download to get this spreadsheet. However, I will have that available. And if you private message me your email address, I will make sure that you get it and that you get on the list to receive it. Anyhow, this is a spending plan. Let's take a look at it. Let me see now if I can. I wonder if I can make this bigger. Nope, I don't think I can. So we'll do the best we can so that hopefully you can get the gist of it. All right, what this is, here, wait, I can make it bigger on this thing. Let's see. No, I want to just make it bigger. I just want to, There we go. Okay, let's see how that looks. Excellent. Okay. This is a spending plan. And here is how it works. You'll see at the top here, there's income. And then below this is expenses. This is very, very detailed. And there's a reason behind that. If we don't get into the details and we are wallowing in vagueness, there's something about this energetically that prevents us from being open to receive what we really want. Trust me on this, I have lived this for most of my life. And the clearer I get, the more clients come, the more my businesses flourish, the more I'm doing the things I love. And it literally comes from clarity. That's such a loaded word these days, but it truly is from detail about my numbers. I will tell you that I began tracking my numbers every single day about March of last year. And in that 1 year, from then until now, you can see huge economic growth, huge growth in peace and joy in my life, huge growth in new friends, new connections, new acquaintances. I mean, my life has exploded in a way like I never thought was possible. It's kind of beyond my wildest dreams. And I don't say that to kind of like rah-rah myself and like out of ego, like, oh, I'm so awesome. It's just truly a miracle. Like it is beyond what I could have ever imagined. And it all began with a spending plan that includes my vision and includes self-care, it includes self-love, it includes going on vacations, right? That's why this is so powerful and that's why it's so detailed. So let's take a look at how it works. The first thing that you would do is enter into this yellow box where it says span, your span of time. So in this case, we're going to go from January to June of 26. And what you'll notice when you change this yellow box, this gray box changes all the way down to across the board. So the yellow boxes are what you fill in. The green boxes are the calculations. The gray boxes, oh, I should have actually changed. Anyway, I'll fix this all. But these also should be yellow. And then you also change these months and then it'll change down here, okay? So we are going to change all of these. So we've got February, March, April, May, and June. So you can either go, so I recommend 6 months at least to create a spending plan. The best is 12 months. And an absolute minimum, you can go with 3 months, okay? All of these are changed. And then look at what happens here. So for example, salary and wages, these are just random numbers. These are not my personal numbers. So this person is making $5,500 a month, and you can see when they put that number here, it totaled it in the span totals, and then it gave the average, which is the same because it's the same every month. But let's go here to, let's say, bonuses, okay? Let's say this person's bonus here was only 506 for the month of January. You can see the total changed and then the average changed. Now over here is a column that's called Advanced 52 Week. What this does is it tells you that every week for an entire year going forward, on average, you're going to make $17.30 in bonuses. Not you, this person. On average, this person makes $105.77 a week in salary every week for the next 52 weeks going forward. Okay. That just gives you an idea of like what does the future hold? You can also see all the totals down here. Okay. And from, like, for example, on average, you've got about 6,000-ish, and then you've got a couple months that are much higher. Okay. Right down here are the expenses. And this is a really cool one. So this calculation in this line here directly correlates to this. So what you'll see is since I put numbers here in the housing, you've got 100% of all expenses is for housing. But this number will change. This is all calculations that will change, okay? And we'll explore that in just a minute. So that's your total for your income. Now you've got a plan here, and we'll explore this more with expenses. What you can then do is decide, okay, well, if I'm earning an average of $105 a week, or actually I'm earning an average of 135 a week with all these things together, what do I want to plan for my life, for my expenses, but also for my dreams and my vision? And so you can then begin to plan for how much you want to accumulate. Maybe what you want to do is pay off debt. So out of this, you might put something like, 75 a week towards your car payment extra, right? Beyond what you've got, which we'll see in the expenses. Because you really want to pay down your car. Because once you pay down your car, then you'll have better credit, and then you'll be able to get a home loan and actually finally buy the house you've always wanted to buy. Okay. This is the power of this kind of spreadsheet. It gets you to thinking ahead, not just only in the everyday of like, what do I have? How am I going to spend it? Like, that's a budget. But spending plan is just that. It's a plan. It's a plan for how do I want to spend money so that my life can be fulfilled in exactly the way that I want. That's what it is. Then this other column here is called envelope. You may have heard of the envelope system. I believe there's a woman in Texas who became like famous for doing videos on this, and now she has literally made like hundreds of thousands of dollars for her system and how she taught it to people. Excuse me. And that's what this envelope idea is. What do you want to save for? For another example, let's say every week you want to save $20 a week to buy a house. And now that's an envelope. And then you can go into your banking system and create those mini savings accounts. Most banks now do this, and it's really easy. And you can start to stash away that $20 a week in order to start saving for a house. That's the power of this spreadsheet. Let's look at some examples here. Let me see now. I put in heat here. Okay, let's do electricity. So for January, I'm going to kind of run through my own numbers here. So I think I was there, and then I was there, and then I was there, and now I'm back down to here. And my projected, so now here we've got May and June, projected heat or electricity rather is going to be this for a while. Okay. For my average spend on electricity is $364 for 6 months. Again, you can also add a column in here, and then you can total that up for 12 months once you know the average. Average for, this shouldn't be plan year. I don't know how I put that in there. So this is just average. I kind of cobbled this together from several different ones. So that's the average. And now this is how much weekly for 1 year, for 52 weeks, it costs to heat my house. Okay. This one, I don't know why this is there. There shouldn't be anything in here. Now, if I know for sure that I have more expensive heating costs in the winter This only really captures January, February, March, really. So December, October, November, December, I can think about how much do I usually pay. I can add that together. And I know that for every year, I will be putting together, let's say, $550 for the year to set aside for heating costs. And this is something that you can decide to put into an envelope or not, right? So when you have that money, you can set it aside. And then as the heating bill comes every month, you just draw from that savings account. Okay. Well, let's go down here. Okay, bottled water. This is a good one. On any given month, I'm usually spending about $550. Depending on where I go, I get the big 5-gallon jugs of water. I refill them, and I have a dispenser, and that's because I have hard water through my well. So I don't want to drink it, and I don't want to boil it because then it gets the that slimy, rimey stuff on there. Okay, so let's put in this. Okay. For 6 months, my total was $27.51 on average. I spend, so that's the monthly average. I spend $458 a month. It's 9 cents a week. And so my spending plan for the year is going to be pretty much double this. So I'm not good at calculating off the top of my head. So wait, 14. So that's 54. So I'll put $55. That's my plan for the year. Okay. That's how it works. Now let's go back to these other calculations. We now have food, 4.6% of total expenses, right? And that's just because we only put in the one line. But you can see how this is calculated up here. And then look at housing dropped to 95.4. So then this is so useful because and you can obviously change all of these. I don't drink soft drinks, so I might do that and put, I don't drink alcohol, but I do, I enjoy those, what do you call it? Like the sparkling, I'll just put sparkling non-wine, right? And so I enjoy these, and I can calculate this all out. Okay. Now, how do you get so detailed? I don't have a receipt with me, but how I do it is I keep my receipts now for everything. Okay. It's also a really great thing to do for your taxes. And then I have incorporated this type of plan with this detail into my accounting software, and I've created categories that reflect these categories. And when I go in to reconcile, I look at the receipt, especially from the supermarket, and I pull out all the things. For example, I've got pets. I'm sure you hear them all the time. Let me see now. It's under personal care, healthcare, dependent care, pet care. And I have this broken down into more refinement. So I have pet food and treats. I have vet care. I have pet, what I call incidentals. So things like leashes, dog poop bags, right, for cleaning up the poop at the park, collars, that sort of thing. So I have that all listed out, and I've broken it all down, and I add all that stuff up in my accounting software, and then I convert that into the spreadsheet, and I calculate everything through the months. And that's how I develop my spending plan. If you don't have that level of sophistication with accounting software, then doing it by hand is at least the way to get started. And I have done this by hand often. Okay. But I wanted to let you know that you can get more granular with these categories for your needs. For example, back up here in housing, I added one that was, I don't have a garden service. I don't live in a place that offers garden services or landscaping. I do all that myself. I add in all the things that I buy for gardening, all the things I buy for lawn care, all of that goes in that bucket. And I've renamed this to reflect that. Okay. Now you can start to get up here and look at expenses. Obviously, these are very low numbers, but this begins to tell you where you're at financially. And here's the thing. Let's say, okay, transportation, let me see now, clothing, personal care, healthcare, dependent care, entertainment. Oh, that's not the one. Education, vacation, here it is. When I first started my spending plan, and then I'll wrap up because I'm way over. I forgot. I get so involved in all this, and I like to share and educate people. When I first began writing up spending plans like this, I had all zeros in vacation. I didn't take a vacation. I'll be really honest. The traveling that I did, most of the traveling I did in my adult life had some other purpose. Even when I went to Mexico with my mom, she was fighting cancer at the time, and I became her caretaker. It wasn't a vacation for me. I can tell you that right now. And that was the only real vacation I ever took in my adult life. There were times when I went to visit my dad for Christmas and stuff like that. Again, it was kind of a vacation, but it was more of a family obligation. So just taking a straight up vacation with not a care in the world, where I went purely to have fun and to connect with people. I did that for the first time in February. I'm going to cry. In my entire adult life. That's the power of a spending plan. I got to see this a year ago, and I thought to myself, Marissa, what are you doing? What kind of life are you living that you don't take vacations? Like, what is wrong with you? And I said that with love, but I was like, what is wrong with you? And I saved up money and I took a ski vacation. I posted about that a couple of weeks ago. If you have all zeros in a category like this, that's why these two columns exist. That you can start to plan for your airfare, plan for your transportation, for your hotel, for all the things. And you can create envelopes to do that. And start setting that money aside. You deserve a vacation, everybody. You deserve a vacation. Okay? Anyhow, this is the gist of this, and you can see the power of it. And I encourage everybody who is watching this video to contact me to get the spreadsheet and start working on a spending plan. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. All right. Okay. A career plan is more than just a title or a bigger paycheck. And I've said this a lot in my posts, and I'm saying it again, and I will say it again and again and again. This is an opportunity for you to really dive into your values, what you want out of your life, and to intentionally build a plan to live that dream. And you deserve that. And I want every single person who's watching this, especially for us women, because we have a tendency to hide ourselves. We're conditioned by society to do that and all the things, and I'm not going to go there, but you know what I'm talking about. We have a tendency to stay small. No matter what country you are living in this moment in time, no matter what language you speak, no matter what you look like, no matter what your past experience has been, it is your birthright to live a fantastic, joyful life. It is your birthright. And creating a spending plan is your first big step to claiming that birthright, because now you've got a plan and you can plan out how you will live your dream. When there's a program on the BBC right now called Good, Bad Billionaire, and they go through the lives of billionaires, and then they have this whole rating system of what they think are good or bad billionaire or whatever. But they tell the life story. And I caught one the other day about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they went through his whole life, and he's really a fascinating character. He was so driven. How he made his first million, it was before he ever became a famous actor. He made his first million in real estate. Isn't that something? I was like, wow. And from there, he just kept building, 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 building. We all deserve this. And we all have the opportunity to claim it. Using a spending plan is the first way to start, to claim that birthright. And I'll say this again, I mentioned it earlier. When you get this detailed, these categories that are in this spreadsheet are really detailed. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, do I have to be this anal? Yes, you do. I started to be this anal and I started doing this a year ago and my life is transformed. And that is no joke. When you are this anal, you tell the universe, I'm serious about this plan. And the universe is like, oh man, she's not joking around anymore. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess we got to give it to her. Heck. And then boom, you get it. You get what you want. It's really something. So there's a whole energy. This is why we do the movement, why we do the stillness, why we do all the things every session. There's a thing about this, and it involves our energy, our beliefs, our mindset. And a spending plan helps us to get clear about exactly what's going on in our lives, which means we're no longer lying to ourselves. We have to face the music of our financial situation. And then it opens us up to the abundance that we really want. It's phenomenal. Just do it, is all I'm trying to say. All right. Now that we've talked about this concept of a spending plan versus a budget, where are you now? What's your number on the scale of 1 to 10? I've gone way long today. I get sucked into the coaching about the spending plan worksheet. It's a thing. All right. And then we are going to do 1 minute of stillness because it's just so good. And this is especially important because money brings up a lot for each of us. So remember the movement that we did at the beginning. You can stand, sit, have a nice erect spine. If you feel comfortable in this moment, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze about a foot in front of you. And let's begin by just noticing our breath. Notice the qualities of your in-breath. Maybe it's the coolness of the air as it flows up through your nose. Notice the qualities of your out-breath. The feeling of your chest as you exhale. And if you have thoughts come in, that's okay. Allow them to float on by like the clouds. And simply breathe. Awesome, everybody. All right, you know how to find me. Like I said, I'm trying to make this a digital download. I'm going to finish that, fix a few things on the spreadsheet and finish that. And it is available to you. If you want advanced access, let me get to the last slide here. All you have to do is DM me your email on LinkedIn. Or if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, just DM me your email. I will make a list and I'll be sure to send the email out to you as soon as, with the digital download, as soon as I have it organized in like another hour or so. Thank you so much for watching. It is such a pleasure always to be with you. I appreciate your time, your attention, and I really hope that you found value in the concept of what a spending plan is versus a budget and how to get started with this in your life. It will transform your life, and I can't wait to hear about the transformation story from you. So take good care, and I will see you in 2 weeks on May 4th. And I think, let me see now. No, that is before Mother's Day. Okay. Yeah, Mother's Day is the 10th. Okay. So, hi to all the moms, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Take care and have a